Watching news at Prime, let's bring you this conversation now. The Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Department is vowing to tighten oversight. These are the controls as initiation schools, the death toll there is rising, and that figure, as we speak, it stands at 48. 48 young people have lost their lives. The Cogta Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa convening a high-level meeting with stakeholders on this particularly dreadful statistic. Eastern Cape and Free State recording the highest number of deaths, with dehydration and negligence cited as major reasons. Minister Hlabisa joining me now to talk more on this. Minister, good evening to you. Thank you for your time. I'm hoping that we were going to talk really under different circumstances, but as I say, 48 young lives have been lost, and I hasten to say, unnecessarily. This could have been avoided. Who must take accountability?
Good evening, Oli, and compliments of the new year to yourself and the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. Indeed, Oli, we are very worried about the rise in terms of deaths around the customary initiation and the two major provinces. The leading one is Eastern Cape, followed by Free State. The major problem is irresponsible behavior. Dehydration is a major cause of death. And dehydration is as a result that the initiates are told not to take water 3 weeks before they go to the mountain. And on their second week, that is where we have a high rise of fatalities, really over Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. We only saw small figures, 2 in Eastern Cape and 3 in Free State. And this is because they have passed a critical stage. Because with the message we are trying now to enforce is that our monitoring teams do go to the initiation schools, check water availability, and the focus now is on parents. Parents must take a responsibility, because only it is a parent who decides that a child must go through the process, and he chooses who is going to be the medical person, the traditional surgeon, to conduct the circumcision, and the nurses who will be responsible to look after his child. Now, parents must take a responsibility of daily monitoring the progress of a child in the initiation school. We are sitting with 3 amputations only in Eastern Cape. If parents were responsible on a daily basis to monitor the progress, they would have seen that the wound is getting out of control. A referral to the hospital could have been done earlier.
All right.
The lives of these young men has been changed completely in a negative way out of the good intention initially of the rite of passage to manhood.
Minister, 2 quick questions from what you have said. Number 1, who issues this instruction for boys to not drink water days before they go to the mountain? Second of all, you raise quite critically the culpability of parents and their responsibility in monitoring their child on a daily. In a situation where you have a mother that is the caregiver, or that is the sole parent of a child, there may be difficulty going to the mountain to monitor their child because there are rules surrounding whether or not women can come near these initiation schools. When you say parents are also to blame here, how How do you address that matter? Because at this stage, they are grieving. How do you drum that message in them that they are also, though, partly responsible for what has happened?
Probably in Eastern Cape, we are having 27,000 initiates in the initiation schools. While we convey our condolences to the affected families, 23 families, but we have a huge number that is still in the initiation schools. This message is directed to them. When you talk to the initiates, they tell you, we were told at home not to drink water. Now we say, parents, change that misinformation. It is a misinformation that if you don't drink water, you heal quickly. Instead, if you don't drink water, you put yourself at risk of dehydration, as a result, death. We can avoid these deaths are unnecessary by communicating a correct information even now. Only in Eastern Cape, there are new intakes of those who are beyond matric, who are not going to anywhere in the month of January. If they go with the wrong information that do not drink water, we will experience more deaths. We are doing our role as the government, as the monitoring teams, the PICC, NEOC, but parents must take a responsibility. We are putting a second responsibility on the doorsteps of parents. There are 2 parents who have been arrested for falsifying the age. 12-year-old boys are recorded as 18-year-old. You can see a 12-year-old compared to 18 years old. This is a criminal act to falsify the age, taking a child and to say he must graduate to manhood. There is no way for a 12-year-old even to withstand the hard conditions in the mountain, rainy time, summer season. We are now saying, parents, you must carry this responsibility, and consequence management is going to follow to you for an irresponsible behavior. Principals of schools, if you don't provide water, it is a condition for an initiation school to have water, to give water to initiate. If you don't do that, you are committing an element that results to death of innocent, healthy young men who could have been our leaders going forward. Coming to mothers, I quite agree. That is why we are saying, if a mother decides for his child to go to initiation school, he must have an uncle, a trusted member made in the society who on her behalf will go there. Initiation occurring is a family matter. It's not a one-person matter. It's a societal culture. If you are a single mother at that particular time, do encourage or request someone on your behalf who will go there and give you feedback on daily basis. And when the wound is not healing and is getting out of control, the first day you get that report as a mother, you must give an instruction that my son must go to hospital. And once the wound has been recovered, he will go back to finish the process in the initiation school.
Minister, thank you very much. Very, very strong message indeed. And I also hear you about the parents that have already been charged criminally for falsifying the age of their children. It means that government really is not just talking tough, but you're taking action. Minister, something quite completely different now to what we are discussing. There is breaking news on the side of the screen, and the National Freedom Party at a national level seems to have instructed its MEC or its deployee in the government of provincial unity in KZN to withdraw from her role as MEC. And there is a press conference to follow on Friday. You are the leader of the Cogta Freedom Party. Your party is leading the government of KwaZulu-Natal. Do you have any comments at this stage about what the withdrawal of the NFP from that government is likely to result in KwaZulu-Natal?
Thank you very much, Tony, for raising this topic which I see on the screen. Firstly, it has been quite a long time, the leadership of the NFP running this narrative of pulling out from the government of provincial unity. We will want to listen what they are going to say in the press briefing and how is that going to compel the current MEC to resign, because I know they firstly attempted the speaker and they did in a wrong way, and the speaker told them she can't do what they say she must do. And they have been in and out in terms of courts in dealing with this matter. Lastly, the withdrawal of the NFP from the GPU does not bring any change, because the status quo will remain not below 50%. Now, if you create a deadlock as a political party, you are not interested in progress. That is all I can say to the leadership of the NFP. They need to think carefully of the people of KwaZulu-Natal, because their action will not bring change except a deadlock. If you create a deadlock, you are not interested in progress. But we will cross this bridge once we have seen how this decision transpires into reality, because there are courts of law. If you do things wrongly, mind you, a member in parliament had a commitment of 5 years, the responsibilities. If you want to withdraw her, really you must do it correctly in terms of the law, and we want to see how this is going to unfold.
Minister, I'm really pressed for time, but I can't let you go without asking you to give us your mathematics briefly, because if you say the NFP pulls out, but it does not affect the government of provincial unity in any way, we've been made to think that the NFP is the kingmaker. If they pull out, the whole thing collapses. How are the numbers, at least to your understanding, going to tally if the NFP goes?
Only the NFP makes 41 members leading the government against 39. Now, if then the NFP decides to pull out and join the opposition, it will be 40-40. That is a deadlock. And if you say you want to drive a motion with 40-40, and then you receive 40-40, the motion does not get carried. You must have 41, which the change of the NFP will not make any difference. I'm sure I'm answering your question. In terms of percentage, the NFP makes 51%. If the NFP pulls out and joins the opposition, the leading parties, IFP and DA, will be having 50%, which makes them able to run the government, because the opposition is 50%. Then if you want a motion, you must have 51% support of the motion, which the opposition does not have, except a deadlock.
Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa, doubling up as a leader of the IFP. Thank you very much for your time.